back to my channel. As always, I am very excited for today's video, and this one, as you can tell from the title, is going to be 8 things that I wish I knew before I started my fitness journey. Now, before we get into that, if this is your first time seeing my face, hi, my name is Samantha, or Sammy for short, and I'm a certified personal trainer as well as a weight loss specialist. So if any of that is of any interest to you, then please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be informed when I upload all of my future content. You can also go ahead and follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Sammy for short. And if you can't tell already, this video is also going to include an upper body push day workout. So that includes chest, triceps, and shoulders. And if you are interested in not only getting a template for that routine, but receiving a full workout program in and of itself, then go ahead and check out optshape.com. That is for my personal business, Optimal Shape. And that is where I'm selling the Bloom workout program, which is what today's workout is going to be pulled from. I have a whole video announcing that and explaining what it is, so you can check it out up here. But I highly recommend you check it out if you are interested in the workout portion of this video. You can also go ahead and follow Optimal Shape on Instagram and Twitter, and check out the Optimal Shape Facebook group. Now, with all of that being said and out of the way, let's jump in to the video. Now, a little backstory about me and my fitness journey. So for me, I really started working out when I was like 13, and obviously I had no idea what I was doing. I was just watching some random YouTube videos and doing, like, I think it's like Rebecca Louise and Blog Lottie's videos were my favorite ones, and I would just do like little 10 to 20 minute workouts with them every day, bodyweight exercises. But I didn't really know what I was doing. I was doing a whole lot of abs because I thought that's how you lose your belly fat, is getting ab definition, and now I know that that's not the case. But that's what I was doing at the time. Obviously, I was a kid, a teenager. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I really got into working out after having my son. Now, I had him when I was 16, so I still didn't really know what I was doing. But it was around that time, like a few months after I had him, that I decided I wanted to become a personal trainer. And when I started out wanting to be a personal trainer, I originally wanted to do what Blog Lottie's and Rebecca Louise does, which is be online mainly, YouTube videos, Pilates type instructor body weight workouts. And then eventually, I forget when, I found Whitney Simmons. I want to say it was around when I was about 18 years old. I found Whitney Simmons and I started falling in love with more weight training. So that's what I did. I ended up going to Planet Fitness with my sister a couple times, and then when I turned 19, I ended up starting to work at Planet Fitness, and then I got into the whole gym atmosphere and again completely loved it and knew that that's the type of training that I personally like to do. And in that time, I've become a certified personal trainer as well as a weight loss specialist, and I have learned so much and I'm continuing to learn more and more about fitness every single day. So now I want to share that with you. And I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, just like everyone else has, and I'm going to continue to make mistakes along the way. But this is just the top 8 things that I've realized in the last, technically almost 10 years if you count when I was 13, but really like 6 years, definitely. Number 1 is to prioritize sleep. I'm really understanding this now, because even up until a couple months ago, I was like, oh yeah, like I just feel better after only 4 to 6 hours of sleep. I don't need 8. When I get 8 or when I get more, I'm so tired. And that is true to an extent. If you sleep too much, you can become more tired. However, it is still good, especially depending on what you are doing, how active you are. And I'm an extremely active person just based on my job and my lifestyle. If you're super active, you're going to need a lot more sleep because your body needs that time to rest, recover, and replenish. So yeah, I could function off of 4 to 6 hours of sleep, but it wasn't optimally functioning. It wasn't helping me. I would find myself tired all the time, wanting to take naps, falling asleep on car rides, like not really falling asleep, but like pretty close to it. I would yawn all the time. I would get more moody even. And I also was recognizing that I was sick a lot. Like, luckily, knock on wood, I haven't really been sick much this year. I should correct myself. I got sick once and it lingered for a long time, but that's because of an underlying issue. But in terms of like, once I started sleeping more, I actually noticed those problems dissipated as well. And it was because I wasn't letting my body rest. I was constantly working. I usually have 2 jobs at a time, plus my son and a social life. and all these things I'm trying to balance at once, and so I was not letting my body rest and recover. So now I used to stay up till like midnight every night. Now I go to sleep between like 9:30 and 10:30, unless it's the weekend. Weekends don't count, but majority of the nights I'm getting anywhere from, I would say, 6 at the lowest to 8 or 9 hours of sleep, and I feel a lot better. I also, if I do have the lower end of 6 hours of sleep, then what I will do is I'll take little naps throughout the day, so like maybe a 15 to 20 minute nap. I don't love doing that, but if you have a job or whatever your schedule is where you do need to nap throughout the day, listen to your body, take that little rest. Don't let it last more than 20 minutes though. Give yourself a little bit of time to recover, recoup, and get on to the next thing. Don't take hour-long naps. You're wasting your day away, and then you're going to be up all night. But it is really important, especially with your fitness journey, because if you hold stress and tension, which will happen if you have a lack of sleep, then your body is going to hold on to more fat as a result of the stressors that you are putting on your body. Number 2, and I've made a whole video about this a long time ago, so I'll leave it linked up here, but you want to make sure that you're drinking water. Each individual needs to drink a significant amount of water throughout the day. A general rule of thumb is I think about 8 cups of it, or you can get a 32-ounce bottle and fill that up twice a day and you're good. You could get one of the bottles that have the times on them and fill that up twice a day. Whatever it is, just make sure you're drinking plenty of water. And I'm now realizing as I'm saying this, I have not had enough water today, so just give me 1 second. But again, to go into more detail about this, you can check out that video that I linked, or just some basic things that water helps with. It not only helps in terms of your digestion, which will in turn help get things going, if you know what I mean. And if you become more regular in that area, you'll notice that you have a lot less bloating and things like that. It also helps your body, your organs, everything internally function properly. You will also have benefits with your skin. It'll help your skin glow, be more clear. You'll have more energy. Most drinks, whether it's sodas, Gatorades, alcohol, whatever, they don't actually satisfy you. Like you still are thirsty after drinking them. So it is really important. Water is the only satiating beverage, in my opinion, that's not going to leave your mouth dry and continuing to want more. So I know a lot of people don't like water. I personally like water all on its own. I also like it room temperature. But if you need to, put ice in it. If you need to, put fruit in it. Whatever you need to do to make sure that you are getting enough water, because it is beneficial in so many areas of your health journey, not only with weight loss, but with muscle growth, acne, cellulite as well. Now, when I mention cellulite, it doesn't get rid of cellulite, but having your skin be more hydrated will help with the appearance of it. Number 3, calories are important. For the longest time, and I think so many people think this, you have to be in a caloric deficit. That's what you hear. So people just go on these crazy diets and cut out all these food groups. And in the beginning, you will lose weight, but it's because you just cut out a whole food group from whatever you're eating, like keto, whatever. It can show you results short term, but in the long term, you are run down, you have no energy, you are constantly tired again. And so it's really important to understand that you have a BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. So your basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories that your body needs just to sustain itself throughout a normal day. Even if you're being sedentary, not doing absolutely any activity, you still need a certain amount of calories to function. That's going to be based off of a couple different factors of you personally, but a lot of people do it based off of like your height, your goals, and your current weight. And that is where you'll find your BMR. Now, as you lose weight, your BMR is going to change over time. I'll probably do a whole video on this because I feel very strongly about it. But the gist is, without any type of exercise, you still need a certain amount of calories. And when you add physical activity, not just exercise, but your daily movement, if you talk with your hands a lot, the amount of calories you burn throughout a day plus your BMR is going to equal what your maintenance calories. And then if you want to lose weight, you would be in a slight caloric deficit from that. What does that really look like? Honestly, it just looks like excluding maybe one snack in a day, not a full meal, not a full day of fasting, just getting rid of one snack that you might have that day for 100 to maybe 300 calories less than what your caloric intake should be. But again, I'll do a whole video on that because I know that's a lot of information to spew, but just know food is fuel. You need food to fuel your body for workouts especially, but just to live your everyday life. Number 4, along the same lines, Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are not bad for you. Carbs are so important. You need it for energy. Now, yes, there is a difference between a piece of cake or a sweet potato. Obviously, one is going to be healthier than the other, but that doesn't mean you can't have the cake at all. That just means to have it in moderation. But some people, I'll be honest, some people can't do moderation. Some people just need to cut it completely. But you still need carbs. And there's so many things in this world, like people don't even know that fruit is carbs. Fruit is going to give you energy. Instead of that piece of toast with your breakfast, have some fruit. If you really want to cut out some like processed foods, there are so many healthy carbs that you can have that you need. You need a carb, a fat, and a protein in every single meal that you have. The protein's going to help replenish your muscles after exercise. The carbs are going to help give you energy throughout your day and throughout your workouts. And the fats help store the energy that the carbs give you. So you need all three of those food groups in every single one of your meals. Now, the amount of grams that each person should be having, if you do choose to track your calories and your macros, is going to be different depending on the person. And I did a whole video, I believe, on how to track how much you would like to have if you want to track, but by no means is tracking necessary. You do not need to if you would like to be more intuitive about it, or if you know yourself and you know that you're going to get fixated on these numbers. Don't even worry about it. Number 5, you cannot target fat loss. I used to believe this all the time when I was a teenager. I was like, oh, if I just do ab exercises, like I said earlier, I'm gonna get a flat stomach, the fat's gonna just burn away from my stomach. That's not how it works. You can do all the workouts you want, and depending on your genetics, that plays a huge factor into this. You are going to be predisposed to gaining weight and losing weight in certain places faster or more than others. That's just science. That's just the basics of it. And sorry to break it to most women have more fat on their stomachs than men are going to have, just naturally, just biologically. And if you've had a kid or a couple, guess what? It's going to make that a lot worse. Is it the worst thing in the world? Absolutely not. You should just be on this journey to be healthy and happy and overall feel good about yourself. But that is something to keep in mind. You cannot target fat loss. I have so many people. I actually just the other day had a client. She was talking to me and she's like, my stomach's just like getting worse. I want to do that machine because my stomach's getting worse. I was like, we can go try that machine. I'm happy that you feel comfortable enough to go do that machine because it was something more challenging than she had normally done before. But I was like, yes, it works your core. But just so you know, it's not going to get rid of that fat on your stomach that she was now worried about. And the thing is, she was like, oh, my stomach's worse. And I looked at her, I was like, your stomach's probably not worse. It might be the same as it was before, but she loses weight on her top half. And most people honestly lose weight on the top half first. There's a couple people who lose it on the bottom first. But most women especially lose it on the top first. And so I was like, so your top half is getting slimmer. So then when you look at your stomach, it probably gives the appearance that it looks bigger, even though it's not. It's just in comparison to where you've already lost the weight. And she had never thought about it that way before. And she's like, oh, I guess that makes sense. You're probably right. I was like, so don't beat yourself up. It's not that your stomach is worse, but that's not where you're genetically predisposed to be losing weight. And there's some people, I know somebody who she was damn near anorexic at one point, and even when she was, she still had a stomach pooch that she was worried about because that's just naturally where her fat stored onto. So at the end of the day, again, you can target muscle growth. You can do certain exercises to build muscle to help build the muscle and tighten underneath so that when you do lose the weight, there's hopefully less loose skin. Now, loose skin is not something that you can control. It will happen, especially if you have a bigger weight loss. But if you build the muscle underneath, it will help with the appearance of it. And if you are looking to bulk and get bigger, building muscle, you can target those areas, but you cannot target fat loss. Number 6, weight training is beneficial. I, for the longest time, like I said, wanted to be a Pilates instructor and do all these bodyweight exercises. And if that's something you love, then great. But weight training is so beneficial to actually push your body further because over time, your body gets used to the exercises it's doing. And yes, there are a lot of different exercises for Pilates and for bodyweight workouts, but you can only advance them and change them and switch them up so often before your body gets used to it, and then it needs something to progressively overload in a sense, or work to switch things up. Otherwise you're going to get stagnant and you're going to be at the same place. So it is important to start incorporating weights. Now, you don't have to lift super heavy. I'll tell you right now, I do not lift heavy at all, and I'll do a whole video on why I don't really think it's always beneficial for everybody to lift 300 pounds, but we'll talk about that another day. But weight training is super important because it's going to target areas that you can't necessarily target just with body weight exercises. It gives you something new. I'm not saying you have to switch up your Pilates routine completely, but maybe if you incorporate one day of weight training, building that muscle also really does help you burn calories. The more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn even while you're being sedentary. Number 7, because it's going pretty long here, number 7 is daily abs doesn't work. I already kind of touched on this about the whole, you can't target fat loss thing, but I was so in my head on, like, from when I was 13 till 18 that if I did abs every single morning, I was gonna get a flat stomach and this and that. And that's just not the case. I do core. Sometimes I don't do core at all, but I'll do core maybe like 1 to 2 times a week if I remember to. Sometimes I'm just doing it with clients, or when I'm doing my weight training, I'm doing compound exercises. That targets everything in my body, and every exercise I always tell people, remember to keep your core tight. So if you're always keeping your core tight throughout all of your exercises, then you're working that core and you're stabilizing it. So I really don't take 3 minutes out of every morning to do abs anymore, because I see such a flatter stomach and a thinner waist now when I'm not doing that. And also sometimes when you're working abs, because you're building muscle, if you build the muscle, especially with your obliques, you could get wider or wider this way, and you're actually getting the reverse appearance that you want because you're crunching and you're building the muscle instead of just letting your core naturally stabilize so that you get more of a slimmer appearance. And number 8 is you want to be healthy both mentally and emotionally as well as physically. So this whole journey is not just about what you look like. And I know a lot of people think that, oh, if I hit this weight or if I get this thing, then I'll be good, I'll be happy. I'm going to tell you right now, that is so far from the truth. If anything, it may just cause you to have a little bit more body dysmorphia. Now, yes, it's great to have these progress pictures and goals and have these targets, and you will feel temporarily happy, but I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to go away. I think some of the people with the most body dysmorphia are people that are in the gym, and it's not to say that to scare you, it's to say that to keep you aware. My body looks completely different now than it has even a couple months ago, even a year ago, a couple years ago. I have a slimmer waist, I have a flatter stomach, I have a bigger butt, I have nice quads. I know I look good, especially compared to what I used to look like, but now it's like I can't see it. Like for a little bit I was like, oh yeah, my butt like there's some days I'm like, yeah, my butt looks really big, and then there's other days I look in the mirror because I got used to it, and once I got used to it I was like, wait, it's not good anymore. And it's not that it's not good anymore, but I got used to it. That's actually something I say a lot with people who want to get like surgeries. The reason, because everyone's always like, well, why would somebody get so much surgery that they look fake? Because the first time you get the surgery, it's probably fine. You go a little bit here, it doesn't look too bad, but eventually they're going to get used to it, and they can't see what they look like anymore because they got used to the surgery. They got used to what their lips look like or what their nose looked like or whatever. And now they need more because they still feel unhappy with themselves because it is a mental and emotional thing inside of them. It's not about the physical, even though they thought that's what it was going to be, whether this is with weight loss or plastic surgery. You think that's going to be the thing that makes you happy and makes you confident and makes you feel good about yourself. That is so temporary. The only way you're going to feel truly good about yourself is if you understand that this fitness journey, it incorporates all aspects of mental, physical, emotional well-being. And when you put yourself at a place where you are at peace with who you are in all 3 of those aspects, then that's when you'll really reap the benefits of this. And it's a struggle. I'm not going to say it's easy. You're going to have good body image days, you're going to have bad body image days, but just remember, it's not really your body that's causing you to feel those things. If you feel those things, it's because of something going on with you either mentally or emotionally. So just keep that in mind with this fitness journey. So I know that was a long little talk, a lot more than I thought I was actually going to say. But with all of that being said and out of the way now, we're just going to jump on in to the upper body workout. Starting off with the warm-up, this is the same general warm-up I do for everything. You're going to be starting with some dowel stretches, or you can call this a PVC pipe, whatever you'd like to prefer. And for this first one, you're just going to bring your arms forward and back, keeping them nice and straight. Try not to bend the elbows when you're bringing them back behind you. And your bar does not have to come towards your butt. If it just depends on the range of motion for you in particular. So if your hands stop higher up in the air, then that's totally okay. Next, you're going to go into circles. So just keeping your arms straight. Once again, you're going to bring one arm up and around your head with the other arm following. You'll do about 30 seconds on each side. And you'll also do 30 seconds for the dowel forward back stretch. Next, you're going to go into single arm windmills, again, one time for 30 seconds on each side. Keeping your arm nice and straight, you're going to bring it forward, up, and reach back behind you, making a circle. This is, again, getting a big rotation in the shoulder, as well as opening up through the chest. You may also feel a crack in your back while you're doing this. It feels really nice. Then going into some neck circles, again, one time for 30 seconds in each direction. You're just going to bring your chin down towards your chest, bring your ear over the shoulder, reach your head back, and then opposite ear goes over the other shoulder. Then going into the movement prep, you're going to be doing some push-up negative. So for this movement, you're going to start in a high plank position with your wrist underneath your shoulders, keeping your core nice and tight, drawing your navel up towards your spine. You're going to slowly bring your torso down towards the ground. Then you'll press through the palms, sit back into child's pose, so bring your hips towards your heels, and then coming back out into plank position again. So this allows you to go through every single portion of a push-up without doing the full push-up on its own, because I know that can be very challenging. This is what I would recommend beginners to do instead of just the traditional girly push-ups or the push-ups on your knees. This is going to be much more effective. Next, you're going to go into dips. This one you're only going to do one time for as many reps as possible. And what you'll do, you can either do this assisted or unassisted. So as you see here, I did it unassisted, but you are able to, with this machine, bring this seat up so that your knees are resting on it. And then you would just adjust the weight to hold and support a certain amount of your body weight up so that this is easier. Either way, what you're going to do is have your palms face down on the sidebars, and then you're going to bend your elbows 90 degrees so that your shoulder comes in line with the elbow, and then press through the hands and push back up again, keeping your chest nice and high, straight forward. You can bend your knees and have your feet locked behind you. Then you're going to go into bench presses. So you're going to be doing 4 sets, 10, 8, 5, and 3. So what you'll do is you'll lay flat on the bench with the barbell. And I generally start warming up with just the barbell itself. It weighs about 45 pounds. But what you're going to do is you'll have your chest nice and high as your hands come down towards your chest. And then as you press up, straightening those arms, you are going to push your chest down, or like your upper back down towards the seat. That way you're fully engaging through your chest as well as the arms. When you push up, make sure you have a small bend in the elbows so you're not overlocking at any point. And then you'll exhale as you push up and inhale as you come back down. Stay nice and strong throughout this movement. It is ideal to have a spotter. If you are going to increase the weight, you could also do this with dumbbells as well. Next, as you see here, I'm doing some dumbbell overhead presses. Again, 4 sets of 10, 8, 5, and 3, and you would increase the weight with each set. This is supposed to be seated. However, this morning I was filming, was just super busy in the gym, so I wasn't able to get a spot with a seat where I wasn't going to get a bunch of people in my video, and I didn't want to make people uncomfortable with me filming. So I just decided to take some smaller dumbbells and do them standing, but I would recommend seated. I feel like you're able to have a bit more weight with this. You're just going to push your hands up straight above your head and then bend your elbows to come right in line with your shoulders, pressing up and back down, exhaling as you come up, inhaling as you come down. Next, you're going to go into a cable push down for 3 sets of 12, and you're going to superset that with the cable overhead extension. For the cable push down, you want to start with your elbows in at your sides, hands in line with the elbows, and then you'll press your hands down and out, and then you'll come halfway back up, so that way you have more time under tension. You don't want to bring the hands all the way up, because then you'll lose that tension, and then you won't be building as much muscle, or it'll be a little bit harder to build muscle when you're losing the tension there. You want to make sure you're standing nice and firmly on the ground as well. That way you have a better base for this movement. Then you'll go into your cable overhead extensions. You're going to do 3 sets of 10 of these. So you're going to stand with your back facing the weights, and then you'll bring your hands above your head, straightening and bending through the elbows, really pushing with everything you've got, exhaling out and inhaling as you come in. Then we're going into core, so you're going to be doing some plank push-ups, 1 round for 45 seconds. You're going to start in a high plank position, keep your core nice and tight, draw your navel up towards your spine. Then you'll drop down onto your elbows with your elbows underneath of your shoulder, and then push back up into a plank. If this is too difficult, you can always just hold the plank. Then you're going into a boat pose, so you're going to sit on your butt, have your heels on the ground, toes up towards the ceiling, have a small bend in your knee, and then you're going to keep your chest nice and high, shoulders rolled back, palms face the ceiling as your arms are straight in front of you, and you'll hold there. If that is a little bit too easy, you can bring your feet up that you just saw me do, or you can also put your hands back. I do also want to take a quick moment to mention that after the cable overhead extensions, you are technically supposed to be doing cable pec flies, but I was unable to film those. I have videos in the past of me doing cable pec flies, but that's the one where you stand in between 2 cable towers and you bring your hands together and then nice and wide, bring them in and out. You can feel free to not only check those out on my channel, my TikTok, or you can look them up on Google so you can find the proper form for it. So I hope you enjoyed this video and the workout. If you did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and go ahead and check out opshape.com so that you can purchase the Bloom workout program and work out with me. Through that, you get a bunch of tips and tricks as well as these videos that I'm posting. If you know anybody that would be interested in this video or that program, then please share this with a friend. Leave a comment down below what you would like to see from me in my future videos. And that's it. So with all that being said, I'm gonna go, but before I do, I want to remind you all to stay positive, be active, and most importantly, do what keeps you healthy.